Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. I am reviewing more plane designs again, starting with the FZ6 Mark II by IRRUSIIONZZ. Lovely name. I wish these were missiles. They look like they could be missiles lined up under the wings like that. It's interesting. That's actually probably a good place to put intakes, just under the center of mass. They would, because they get increased drag as you go higher, they would help keep your craft from pulling up too much if it has a problem pulling up too much. Which, looking at the indicators, it looks like this one probably will have a problem with pulling up too much. Because if you look at that, center of lift should always be behind the center of mass. It should not be right on top of it like that. That is bad. That makes it unstable. And now that it's morning, let us begin with this test. Okay. I had to fast forward time a bit. But here we are, ready to take off. We're going to take off very quickly with this thing. I'm actually going to disable fuel flow on the front to help it balance a little bit better. Woo. Agile jet. I like how it looks backwards from most planes, you know? Like, it just looks backwards. Also, it's interesting how you have the wings sort of, how do you say, kind of like there's this weird, it goes further on the outside and then comes back in closer on the inside, and I'm flying this thing very badly on purpose to see. Oh, never mind. I got a little worried there. I was thinking I was gonna pull it off, but I wasn't really sure. I mean, I've never flown this thing before, so I don't know how much crazy pointing down you can do with it flying low before it freaks out and explodes. However, I was taking a gamble based on the fact that he said it's an agile jet, and it is indeed an agile jet. The only problem with it is it might get a little unstable during flight. Right now it's flying very stable. If you had it draining from these front tanks, which I disabled, it would be getting unstable slowly over time. It would have a tendency to pull up on its own, which is a very bad thing. You don't want it pulling up on its own because it's because then it's harder to fly. And yeah. Also, these intakes, they're being positioned under the center of mass is good because they have more drag, right? And so having them under the center of mass like this makes them help keep it from pulling up as much. And that's probably why you haven't experienced issues with it wanting to pull up, is because those help you out there. So that's cool. It is indeed very agile. See how easy it is to land. And do a loop. Do a loop with the engine off, just because, and then land it. I don't like how close the landing gear are to the center of mass. I mean, it means I have to be careful when landing it. And in case you haven't noticed yet, I don't like to be careful with landing things. Probably great evidence to that by the fact that I just did a random loop at low altitude with the engine off when I'm supposed to be landing. I don't want to land it. I don't feel like landing. Landing requires, like, skill, whereas I can fly it around like crazy, like, easy. I kind of want to try to land it on the runway, especially because it glides so well, but I also just want to get it down already. Okay, fine, I'll land it on the runway. Just gonna pull around this way a bit. Gain a touch of speed. Actually, we're not gaining any speed, but technically we're not because it's falling, but we are because the engine's on. But we aren't anymore, because I turned it off. And I'm pulling up too hard. We're gonna fall a bit fast here. That's okay. I might land this wrong, just so you know. Just a little warning. Oh, pulling up too much. Come on. And down we go. Oh, bit of a rough landing. No, wait, not a rough landing. Are we on the ground yet? Oh, now we are. Hey, that was actually pretty good. Stopping is another matter. Trying to line it up straight. There we go. Lovely. Great. Perfect. Next. By the same person. Whoa. Whoa. The FH8 Pancake. Which is a very interesting design. Yeah, see, your center of lift is in a better place on this thing. Although maybe a little farther forward. I don't really know. I don't really know what to say about this design. It's very strange. That much is for sure. Low altitude engines with RAM intakes. Interesting. Love how many struts are on this thing. Makes me feel like this thing's invincible. Probably is. See how quickly it takes off. Almost instantly. It's a flying pancake. Yeah. That's pretty much how to describe it, right? Flying pancake. Cockpit view is strange. Oh, that's the wrong button. Tried to exit the cockpit and instead I turned the engines off, because I'm pro like that. Let's see, there was something I was going to do with it to test it. I'm trying to remember what that was now, but I was basically going to do something ridiculously stupid with it, just to see what would happen. I had an idea for a brief moment, and then as soon as I... Oh yes, now I remember. It's not to test it so much as it's just to have some fun. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I always turn that on because parts sometimes that should be able to go to parts that sometimes should be able to go together certain ways refuse to go together, and other times a tiny bit of clipping makes it works so much better. Like, this craft was probably constructed with clipping the way these wings are all smashed together. And even if it wasn't, this craft is an example why part clipping doesn't really matter, because if the game will let you part clip, then why not part clip? Let's see, no crash damage, unbreakable joints. Oh, that's the wrong button. Let's see, Alt-X, in case we accidentally set any trim. And now let's drive this into the ground. See, I don't get why this happens. This tends to happen. I enable these cheats and then it crashes anyhow. Yeah. Anyhow, let's do something slightly less ridiculous with it. Once it loads, that is. Loading, 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 and reloaded, loaded, loaded. I'm gonna turn up the throttle only a little bit right now. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the landing gear up. See, I can just kind of bounce on the ground. I seem to have broken some parts off. Yep, I have indeed broken some parts off. Even though I enabled the thing that's supposed to keep that from happening. This thing flies very strange with only 2 engines. Look at this. Whee! It's a me, crazy-o. It flips over just instantly, and then has issues because of that. That's very cool. Whoa. Oh, it's just doing that on its own now. That sucks. Come on. Oh, barrel roll, sorta, not really, at all. Yeah, let's see if we can land it safely. Land! Land! Boing. And random parts fall off. Oh no! How are we ever going to survive? Oh, we're only going like 26 meters per second. There we go. See, we're perfectly fine. Oh, there it is. And it's just gonna... it's super lightweight, so it's just gonna fly around for a bit. Anyhow, next craft. This is the P38 Lightning, which is, you know, based off of the P38 Lightning, probably. You know, makes sense. Oh, center of lift is too far forward. I guess that's why Nathan was telling me to put the trim down. Yes, this was a plane designed by Nathan. I like these wings. Like, they're strange, but they look nice. Anyhow, it's very interesting. Oh, there's a slight bit of clippiness right here on this intake, and I hate that so much. Just annoys the hell out of me. And then he covered these trusses with parachutes to make it look like kind of like a hull. Like, that's the design. They're not actually supposed to be used as parachutes. But since I am insane, we will be using them as parachutes at some point. Okay, now that it's loaded, I'm going to set the trim down a bit, because he says to set the trim down a bit, and then full throttle. And apparently we should take off just fine on our... like, it'll just take off on its own. With the trim set down. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Nope, there it goes. Taking off. Maybe I need to set the trim down more. It definitely loves to pull up. Oh, this is... I keep forgetting this cockpit doesn't have an IVA view. Oh. Oh. Interesting. Oh wow, didn't break it. Wow, trusses are strong. Fucking full power. Parachutes everywhere. Let's blow up these engines. Because you know how engines will blow up if you put too much stress on them. So let's blow them up. Wow, this thing can't even roll. Because of the engines, the way they are. Like, I'm just holding roll all the way and it won't turn back over. Come on, engines, explode! Come on! Explode! I really want these engines to explode, just for the hell of it. Nice. Oh, that's the wrong button. Come on, explode! Oh, that sucks. Guess we're gonna have to go through and manually cut all of these parachutes. Come on, click, click. This is gonna take a while. Come on. Cut. Cut. Apparently there's a parachute. Oh, there's one on the nose, too. Interesting. Cut. Well, this flight is doomed. Just forever and always. Doomed. To land softly. Because of all these fucking chutes. And finally, the Vergould. Yeah, your craft, I can't. Yeah, I can't. Sorry. Bye. Well, thanks for watching, etc., etc. See you in space.